What's going on, everybody? It's be your boy
DJ Anonymous.
DJ Anonymous with another episode of Sports Biz Music, the podcast, and I got a very, very special guest on the show today. I got my boy Robert Kaiser on the show. How you doing today? What is evening?
I'm doing well, bro. Really appreciate you having me on. It's an honor for sure.
Nah, no problem. So before we get into the interview and the questions, introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Robert. I grew up on the central coast of California, a little tiny town called Templeton, like 3,000 people. I played basketball at Cal State LA, which is a D2 school down here in Los Angeles. Did my undergrad in business entrepreneurship. Got a job with a sports agency, first job out, and then took a role in project management with a nonprofit organization in Ohio for a year. And now I'm back in LA. I'm in the Pepperdine Golf Studio Business School's MBA program, and I'm doing some business development type stuff for a friend's company. So it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah, it's You say where you from? You got the small. You say you from the coast of California?
Yeah. It's like almost exactly halfway between LA and San Francisco on the coast. So the town that I'm from is called Templeton, but like San Luis Obispo is the biggest town in the area.
Okay, yeah, cause I've been to LA before. It was once, and at the time I didn't know better because I was just asking the question. I was like, how long does it take to go from LA to the Bay Area? Like to Oakland, San Francisco, like just driving. That was like 9 hours. I'm like, what the hell? That's like me going from Miami to Tallahassee. Well, not even Tallahassee. Yeah, Tallahassee. It's about 9 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big state. You can drive 16 hours in California and still be in California. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy. So tell us about like your beginnings.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up with two brothers. I'm the middle of three boys. My older brother's military. He lives in North Carolina. My younger brother is a marketing student. He's an undergrad at Cal Lutheran. Family's super, super important to me. My parents are, my rock, and still talk to them every week. And just very graceful people. And my mom is a teacher, and my dad's a pastor. And they made a lot of sacrifices, financially and career-wise, to do things that they're passionate about. And it really made an impression on me. And I've always wanted to kind of be able to pay them back in some way. So that's kind of like the family side. Always was into sports. I was, a catcher in baseball, and I really just focused on basketball once I got to high school. I played the one in high school, and then I played the two in college. What I mostly did in college was clap at the end of the bench with my warm-up still on, but we're not going to talk about that. So I always was into sports, loved sports. Wanted to play in college. Got an opportunity with CSULA and Jim Saya, who's kind of like a cult legend in the basketball world. And it was amazing, and great business program at CSULA, and top-notch professors who are entrepreneurs in the field. So really kind of getting that ground level experience and getting to talk to real people. And that's kind of, I guess that's a little more of the nuts and bolts. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. So you said you played basketball, right?
Yes, sir.
So, California, especially nowadays, like, it's very well known for basketball. So, like, kind of like give us, like, I guess, like I don't know, like the experience of, being from California, being from a place where, you got players like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George,
sure.
Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, James Harden. I can, you keep going. DeRozan, like
for sure.
Like, how is it like coming from California, especially being a baller?
It's really cool because so like at the level that I played at, there weren't like the guys that most people would know, like the big NBA stars, but there's a lot of like connective tissue there where like most of them played with those types of guys in AAU ball and high school and stuff. And so like it's one degree of separation, and even rubbing shoulders with guys like that is a lot of fun. I stay connected with a lot of my teammates to this day. But to give you a good story on like an LA basketball thing. So like I said, I really honestly I probably was wearing shoes that were too big for me playing D2. Like I just wasn't up to snuff athleticism wise, and couldn't really do anything except shoot it. And so like seriously, like my coach used to tell me, like, don't go inside the 3-point line and don't dribble. Like just, if you get it, just let it rip. And so we were playing at UCLA my sophomore year, and my younger brother and my dad were there in the crowd, and there was like 4 minutes left. We're getting crushed by like 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they put me in, and I'm going like, okay, if I touch the ball, like I'm a Poly Pavilion, you know, like UCLA's got however many rings and all that stuff. Like if I touch the ball, and by the way, the Dodgers are getting creamed in Game 7 of the World Series to the Astros on the big screen, so I'm pissed.
Oh wow!
LiAngelo Ball is guarding me, and I catch it, and like I think I take one dribble, and I like chuck it up at like the right wing, and I bank it, and I make it, which again embarrassing but great story. And then the next possession, we like had a transition fast break type situation, and my teammate throwing the ball to the floor to me, and he like closed out, and I hit the second three, and then with like I think a minute left or something like that, I had another one, and it rimmed out, and I missed it. So I almost gave Jello Ball 9 points in 2 minutes, almost.
So like you know, speaking of UCLA, you know, that's like the cream of the crop when it comes to you know, basketball. Even though you went to a smaller school, but you had that experience, you know, being on the campus and, you know, being on the court. Like, how did it feel?
It's cool, man. It's cool, especially, you know, thinking about the names that have played there, you know, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and dudes like that. And so, yeah, just to like be in that place and see, you know, the level of care and the amenities and all the operations staff they have. I mean, it is a big time operation. It's you know, it's run a lot more like the Los Angeles Lakers than it is like Cal State LA basketball. Right. And I'm not hating on Cal State LA, but it's a lot of fun to be in that type of environment for sure.
And you know, you being a former athlete, like a former student athlete, you already know what's a big topic these days. You got the NIL deals, you got this transfer portal that's going on. As a former athlete, how do you feel about it? Like, do you like it? Do you don't like it? Are you neutral? Like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I actually wrote a paper when I was an undergrad on kind of this subject, and the NIL stuff obviously ended up developing in an interesting way. I think I absolutely unequivocally think college athletes should be paid. Like, right. They gotta, like, the school's making too much money off them. I don't know if there's enough structure in place right now with the NIL stuff. Yeah, it's definitely early, and they're, you know, feeling it out and piloting it a little bit. I would like to see like more involvement on the school side, I think, because it's kind of the Wild West, and you know, it's an unfortunate reality, but there are people out there that will take advantage of kids and use them and their brand for, you know, whatever purposes they may have. And so I think there should be some level of regulation. I'm probably not the guy to implement it, but right. Yeah, I think it needs to be tweaked for sure.
I agree. I feel like, for one, kids do need to get paid, especially this past off season with all these conferences, you know, getting these deals, these multi-billion dollar deals with these networks. Whether it's college football, college basketball, whether it's even college baseball or softball, because, you know, during their tournaments, you know, is people watch, you know, people watch their sports. I always say the big three: football, basketball, and baseball. And in some cases, you may have hockey. Those are the money sports. Yeah, like the money sports. So yeah, they bring in the most revenue, the most likeness, you know, and of course the most stories. But but yeah, like after seeing like it's not even like about the coaches anymore. It's about these schools, about these conferences. Like you paying the conference $3 billion, and each school get what, maybe 50. Not even, they may get 100 of that, $100 million
Yeah.
of that. So it's just like, what the kids get, and like I remember Northwestern, because that was one of my I was for it a long time ago. I remember Northwestern, they were trying to get like a union back in, I think it was 2011, where they wanted to pretty much like have athletes get paid, and then at the time people was like, how it's gonna work, because you got volleyball players, you got softball players, you got hockey players, lacrosse. But I'm like, first of all, that's true, but then second of all, you do have so many like schools. Like for example, hockey is very big in the Midwest. Like Michigan.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a complex problem doesn't mean you shouldn't solve it. Like that's not fair.
Right, and out in the West Coast, y'all known for track and field. So it's like money it could happen, and we seeing it now. Like I like the whole NIL deal where kids get likeness, like they get likeness, and they get like sponsorship from different businesses, different corporations. Like it's so much money out here. So many like Fortune 500 companies, like even from a local dealership, a local bakery, or a local supermarket, paying the kid $10,000, $20,000 a month. Like that's perfect. I just feel like you said, it does need to be more structured, but that's gonna take time. Sure. And they have to be careful too with politics. Like, because my thing is, I love I love college sports so much. I don't want it to turn into like the NFL or the NBA or the MLB. Like I want it to be
where it's all politicized and it's all very like backroom and all that stuff. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So for me,
for sure, and I think it's really interesting too. Like on the subject of the NIL stuff, just from a branding standpoint, like I work in brand management now, similar to what you do, and it's a great opportunity because these small, even smaller college athletes in regional areas have these rabid fan bases that are very much so engaged in their content and what they've got going on and all that stuff. So exactly what you're talking about, like the local car dealership, that type of thing, like I see a lot of value there. Like those almost like micro transactions,
Yes, I think about North Dakota State, or what's a small school out in California that's like real known, like a UC Davis. Like one of them, like like a UC Davis, a Cal Poly, like within that city, because people don't realize you got cities and towns that will shut down the whole city, they'll shut down the whole town just to see that Pacific school, that Pacific team. So it's like, imagine a player that's playing for Hawaii, like, or players that's playing for Hawaii. Imagine they NIL deal. They basically got a whole, you can say it's a state, but basically they got a whole culture, a whole country behind them, a whole, like,
they got like a monopoly on the whole vibe.
Yes. So it's just like me, if I was to go to school, even here in Florida, like a FAMU is one of the well-known HBCUs, even coming from there. I own half of Tallahassee. The other half could be owned by a player from Florida State. Like it's growth for everything. But like you said before, like as long as they keep have the right structure and make sure it don't go too crazy where you get to a point where you have students that's holding out because they're not getting paid. Like
oh my God, it's just gonna be NFL training camps, but at the college level.
It's crazy, man. Like that's when I feel like that's my feel. But so let's talk about your post, your post student athlete career. So you were at the Beverly Hills the Beverly Hills Sports Council. You still working there?
No, yeah, that was my first job out.
Mm-hmm.
I interned with them for a year unpaid. I tore my plantar fascia my junior year of basketball, and that kind of ended my false illusions of ever doing anything with a basketball career. Um, and so I started interning there shortly after. Um, interned for a year unpaid. I was the first paid intern in the company's history for the last couple months of school, and then was brought on full time. And uh, great, great experience to learn how to work. Danny Horowitz, the president there, is a legend. He's one of the greatest sports agents in history, and so getting to work closely with him was a blessing. And I had never really worked in like a office corporate type setting before, and
Mm-hmm.
so I really learned like the hard skills that I need, just like Excel and communication and, throwing decks together and presenting and, all that type of stuff that translates to, no matter what you go into.
Mm-hmm.
I really got drilled on, and, yeah, it's a brutal industry. It's really hard. There's a lot of times, you fire off a project at 2 a.m. and you wake up at 6 and you got like 11 edits to add. And, so it's a grind, but it's a sexy space. You get to be around professional athletes and do cool, meaningful work. And so I definitely am glad that I had the experience. I don't have a desire to go back into it, to be frank with you, but it was a great place to start my career for sure.
And then after that you started working as a director of operations at A1A Prep Academy.
Yeah, it's AIA Prep Academy.
Yeah, AIA. Yes.
So it's have you ever heard of the Athletes in Action?
The what?
Athletes in Action?
No, I never heard of it.
Okay, it's a Christian sports organization. They do like college ministry, like where they have Bible studies and stuff like that. But they also have like a global headquarters, and so I got connected with them after my freshman year of college. I got recommended to go on one of their tours. And so what they do is they pull together a team of Christian athletes from across the country, and you got 8 or 9 guys, and you go to a country and do like submission work, and you play against professional teams there. So got to go to Kenya, and really, really incredible experience. But that was how I got connected to AIA, and my tour director from that trip to Kenya, James, was heading up this prep academy project. Like the prep school deal, right? Like the post high school thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
I know
like
about it.
it's gotten trendy, especially in the basketball space. With COVID screwing up everybody's eligibility and all that stuff. So that organization, Athletes in Action, had an initiative starting this. They had a need for somebody to come in and set some structure and do the branding and launch the social and build the website and all that type of stuff. And so I thought it was a cool opportunity to kind of take my my business experiences that I had with Beverly Hills Sports Council and kind of my passion in terms of my Christian faith and wanting to be more on the basketball side of sports.
Mm-hmm.
It was an awesome opportunity and learned a lot, and it was definitely out of my comfort zone to be in Ohio and be a bit isolated from family and friends. But I would say maybe not my favorite year of my life, but maybe the most important.
So how was it? You said So how was it in that, like, really, like, your true experience as far as, like, going to, I like to call it the motherland. Like how was it?
Yeah,
because I want to go. I really want to go one day.
Yeah, it was difficult for sure, but the organization is a really great and special organization, and so they made a lot of efforts to get me onboarded and get me integrated and all that stuff, and made a lot of really great connections with people who I still keep in touch with and chat with on a monthly basis, and so it was hard in the sense that I was away from family and friends, and those kind of relationships are very important to me. And the other thing is, bro, it is too cold in Ohio. Like it's awful. It was miserably cold. I'm a Southern California boy. I was like shivering and slipping on ice. Like that wasn't it. But like I said, I'm really glad I had the opportunity. I'm really glad I took the opportunity and kind of made that jump. And I think again, like, similar to the BHSC stuff, it's really set me up to be successful in other ways moving forward, which is, it's a blessing.
Yes, it's a true blessing. And so I think we touched on this actually on LinkedIn. You work for Fourth and Crawford, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So let's talk about Fourth and Crawford.
For sure. So I worked with the CEO and founder, Emily Reza, who's just a superstar. I mean, she's one of my favorite human beings in the world, like, aside from thinking she's awesome at her job. But she was the director of PR and social media when I was at Beverly Hills Sports Council, and so we worked pretty closely together, and kind of developed a friendship there. And so we left the sports agency at around the same time, her to start Fourth and Crawford, me to go to AIA Prep, and I did some like consulting just on a freelance basis with her, like here and there throughout the year. So I was familiar with clients and stuff, and I had kind of the summer before I started at, Graphidio with the MBA program. And I just hit her up and, asked if we could increase hours and do a little more. And it's been fun to kind of get more down into the trenches and get to work closely with her. And we have great clients that we do, social media management for, and then we do like some concierge services, and we do project management for, various branding type things. And so it's cool. It's a fun and exciting space to be in, with how dynamic social media is. Yes. And especially in sports and entertainment, it's, everybody's doing cool stuff. And so it excites me. It fires me up. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one thing I tell people this all the time. Social media could be a gift and a curse, but if you use it as a tool instead of like a liability, it could be a gift more than a curse. Because I think the problem is a lot of people don't use it like that. Like you gotta kind of like use social media like you use real life. Like, I use LinkedIn. I use all my social medias for business, but I learned that Facebook is more. It's more for family and friends. You can still make it business if you got like a like page, or you have like a group or whatnot on Facebook. Like you create like a group or like a network. Twitter, people talk about different stuff on Twitter, but Twitter you could definitely use it as a tool. You just have to you have to pretty much use everything as a tool. And like the one thing I love about LinkedIn, especially compared to how it used to be years ago, is that more people are sharing their knowledge, sharing their different opportunities and content that I didn't even see not even 3-4 years ago. But yeah, that like social media, you could get so close to your dreams if you just use it right.
Oh, bro, I'm with you 100%. Like anything in the social media space, I think it's just it's the future. It really is. And yeah, touching specifically on what you said about LinkedIn, I mean, if you know how to talk the language and like work with it and stuff, it's amazing. Like I can go and pull up every Pepperdine Graphidio MBA alum, like, and filter it by different qualifiers, location and industry and stuff, and reach out to people right there through that. Like, what an amazing thing! Like that research would have taken hours 15 years ago.
Yeah, so thank God for technology. So what's your what's your goal? Like what's your, I guess your like what's your end goal for everything? Like what's your main mission?
I want to be in the digital branding space for sure. So like I said, the social media and website and SEO and project management and kind of those areas. That's where I want to be long term. I don't necessarily know what it looks like in the short and intermediate. There's kind of like a path that you go through when you're getting your MBA on a 2-year timeline like mine. And so I'll have an internship somewhere next summer. I don't know where yet. But yeah, so kind of feeling out, do I want to go with like a marketing agency type route? Do I want to, maybe go back into the sports agency world, but exclusively do kind of like branding stuff? I think there's options, and it's been a lot of fun the last couple of weeks to start doing some informational interviews with amazing professionals in the field, and kind of start feeling out what the ecosystem really looks like, and hopefully make some like directional type decisions soon.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And then you also talked about a little bit about starting your own podcast, which I always tell people to do it, encourage people to do it. Anytime I hear someone say they're thinking about doing it, I tell them just do it. So what made you want to do a podcast? I just want to know, like, what
Yeah, so I have a buddy who's a rapper. His name's Derek Niffen. And we lived together in Eugene, Oregon last summer. And we have we just have a funny dynamic relationship wise. Like, we're kind of polar opposites, but we get along really well. And so we always said that we were going to start a podcast, and like we kicked it around and looked into it a little bit, and pretty much we were just too broke and didn't really want to put in the effort. But so I kind of had that, idea for the last year and a half or so, and getting started here at Rasied the last few weeks. One of the people who I've gotten really close to manages podcasts. That's what she does, and got connected to another guy who does kind of like marketing for pods. That's what he does, and so it just kind of came together, and we've met a couple times, and we're gonna start putting things in motion here soon, hopefully.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, man. Like, I tell people all the time, like, it's one thing about podcasting. It's not too hard. You gotta be consistent. You gotta be very consistent. Like with me, when I started like doing like podcasts, I noticed it that like, damn, I gotta be very, very consistent with stuff, because we're like posting and we're like just having episodes, because you could quickly get lost, but also at the same time, like once you very consistent, you could like literally like become overnight what do you call it? Overnight celebrity. That's what they call it, overnight sensation. And just gotta.
Well, and what's so interesting to me about it is I think I would be interested to hear your take on what I'm about to say. But it seems to me that the people who do podcasts well, they're not making it for an audience or anybody else. Like, they're just doing what they are passionate about. Like, they want to talk to people, or whatever, just go solo, or various formats. But it seems to me that the really good podcasters, it's for them. Like, it's not for anybody else.
I agree. Cause like I told somebody before, I was on the phone before we started the podcast. I was telling him, I started the podcast because one, I wanted to talk about things that I was interested in, and then two, I wanted to network. I want to build my network with the people I had had them as a guest on. Like, of course, not everybody, for some reason, we're not going to establish a relationship or whatnot, and that's okay.
For sure.
But one thing I learned about podcasting, 'cause I've been doing this for about 5 years, is that, let's say, you had a guest on the show. Let me name him John Doe, and John Doe, 3 years blew up, and he's one of the most well-known like actors in Hollywood, right? So just because he blew up, what do most consumers and fans do? They go back and do their research on that person. So you had that, so you had that person on your show, and he blow up. Guess what? You gonna blow up too out of nowhere, because I've seen it. Like, it's like so many other podcasts and YouTubers. that blew up later on because they had podcasting. It's like being in the stock market. It's like being in real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like you have you got, it's like a waiting game. Like you invest your time in this interview and this person, but it could happen either 5 years from now, it could happen 5 days from now, it could happen 5 hours, 5 minutes from now. It depends. So that's why you hear a lot of people like, can I bring value to your podcast? And for me, anybody could bring value to a podcast because you never know what you're gonna do in the next, you know, 2 weeks, 3 years, 2 days, you know. So it's not always about getting. Of course, we all want to have the big person, the big name on our shows, because I have a list of people who I want to have on the show one day. But it's about getting the little. I don't want to say little people. I want to get like, I want to build up. I want to build a network, because it could be a person that they may not be well known, but they known, whether it's in their own city, their own state, or they have a cult fan base that's like, you know, like, you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's all about podcasting is really about, it's like investing in yourself. It's betting on yourself. You know?
Yeah, that all makes a ton of sense, and I appreciate the insight too. Just kind of going into this, it's really valuable. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. And then you being a basketball, a former basketball player, you in sports, and you from California, I can't let this slide. So technically you from LA, so right? Or you between the LA, you between LA and the Bay Area. So do you follow more LA sports, or do you follow more Bay Area?
Yeah, so it's interesting. My dad's from Inglewood here in LA, and my mom's from Oakland in the Bay.
Wow.
But so dad won. I'm LA sports. I'm LA sports everything. I haven't followed the Lakers as closely since Kobe retired. I was a big Kobe guy. I don't know. It's kind of weird to root for LeBron's Lakers. I don't know why. I have a hard time with it sometimes.
No, I understand.
I'm
a Kobe fan. You know, God rest the dead. Like I understand.
Yeah, that's why we get along, man. But he's a Dodger fan. I don't watch a ton of football, but if I did have a team, it would probably be the UFC Trojans. So I'm LA sports through and through.
Okay, so thanks. So I can't even ask you the question because you pretty much told me, you know, you don't really watch football like that. You watch the Lakers. And I lied. I lied. I said I'm LA sports through and through. That's not true. And there's zero reason for this other than I liked the color that they wore when I was a kid. But I am a massive North Carolina basketball fan. Oh yeah,
that's probably my favorite sports team.
Yeah. Me, I think that's my favorite college basketball team.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough that I was at the Final Four this past year when they beat Duke. So that was like a bucket list type thing, you know?
Man, there's every real sports person bucket list. You got the national championship, you got the March Madness, the Final Four, Super Bowl, the finals, the World Series, the Olympics, Daytona, WrestleMania. You know, like it's a whole bunch of, you know, sports events that a lot of people want to go to. That's on their bucket list. Even if they're not a fan of that sport, but like for me,
for me, like Kentucky Derby is a good example.
Yeah,
of that. Like I don't care about horse racing. I would love to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna lie. I kind of grew up around it. Cause coming from Miami, from down here, we had like a lot of. I mean, we still do. We got a lot of we got a lot of horse tracks.
Gotcha.
And when I was younger, my dad he used to take me to the horse track. That was only a few places he used to like to take me to. He used to always ask me what number, so I picked the numbers and stuff. So, but my thing was I was more interested into like the horses, into like the what do you call them,
the jockeys.
Not the jockeys, the actual people who put water, who treat
I gotcha. Yeah.
I was more interested in the trucks going around and putting water on the dirt. It was like I don't know, for some reason that interests me so much growing up when I was around like the horse track. But yeah, the Kentucky Derby, yeah, is one of them. Even the you just had the U.S. Open,
That's a good one. Yeah. That's a really solid one. That would be a lot of fun. And I feel like I mean, I've never seen high level tennis but I mean high level tennis live, but I imagine that even if you don't have a ton of tennis knowledge, it's pretty fun in that environment.
Nah, it is. Like it's amazing. Like my only experience I had was when we had the Miami Open, and the Miami Open is like some of the stars come out. It's like the mid spring like classic.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of the tennis players, they train. Majority of the tennis players either train here or California. So, when it's down here, a lot of them, majority of them kind of local. So when you go to an event like that, you see all the big names like Roger Federer, Serena Williams, Naomi. You see some of the big names, Coco, she from here. So you see some of the big names, but that was the closest I ever did, because I was interning. I was a volunteer there, and but yeah, it's amazing, man. I just love sports, man. Like I went to school for sports, so I love it, But
I couldn't agree more, and yeah, sports are the best. Like sports are it's a universal language. Like
yes.
You just can find common ground with anybody through sports. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's very amazing. So, being a ball player, playing basketball, I already know who's number one on your list, but I need to know who's in your top 5 of basketball players of all time. I already know Kobe number 1.
Yeah, Kobe's number one. Kobe's number one, and I don't want to have any conversations about my reasons, because like nobody's changing my mind, and I've heard every argument for everybody else, and I don't want to hear it. I just think Kobe's better than everybody. So Kobe's my number one. I think my number 2 would have to be Jordan. I think I'll go Kareem at 3. Braun 4. Ooh. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here, and I think I'm gonna go. I was gonna say Steph, but I'm gonna go Magic Johnson at 5.
Magic Johnson. So you say who you say? Kobe,
Jordan, Kareem, Braun, and Magic.
In that order.
Yeah.
Okay, because some people be like, why you got LeBron number? LeBron he not in my number 1 for various reasons.
I think when it's all said and done, his resume will probably be pretty undeniable. But like, it's a subjective conversation, and I'm going to make it subjective.
No, it's just for me, LeBron's top 3. He like non-biased. He's top 3. Biased, he's not in my top 5. He's top 10, but he's not in my personal top 5. And only reason why is because people. It's like, what do we play sports for? You play to win. You play to win the championship. I just feel like in this generation, it got watered down too much. So it's not important to win championships. I said, so what's the point of playing sports? Like professional sports as that, And
I I totally agree, and he's had those moments, where he went into hyperdrive in Game 7 versus the Warriors when they came back from 3-1, and he's had those high level championship moments. But I mean, I agree, he's lost in the finals a lot, and to some elite talent that were having great years, like the year that Dirk beat the Heatles. But yeah, I agree with what you said, where okay, if we want to talk facts, he's got to be in everybody's top 3. But if we're doing biases, then yeah, he's at 4 for me.
Yeah, because it's like I look at the finals. Yes, he made a lot of appearances, but I mean, Kareem made the same amount. He's 6-4.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know.
And to touch on that, Kareem is an interesting one, because Kareem and Jordan have the 2 best resumes ever. Where you look at longevity of career, all their different metrics and MVPs and championships and all that stuff. It's Kareem and Jordan resume wise.
Yes.
It really is. It's only those 2.
Yes, I agree, because it's like I said, I'm not gonna say LeBron, through everything LeBron, he's the most the best overall basketball player I've ever seen in my life in terms of his mobility. He don't get hurt as much. He's getting hurt now because of age, but the man did a lot. I respect him on that. I just, we gotta have another podcast about that, because it's just even when he was downhill, people always talk about that Dallas series, and it's true. Come on, man, you the chosen one, you the GOAT.
He just got beat that series, just beat like JJ Barea.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So, and then for the last question, go ahead.
I agree though. We got to just have a LeBron episode at some point.
Yeah, we got to. And then so my last question is, where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now?
Wow, great question. I think 5 years. I see myself probably in that space that I talked about earlier, in that digital branding. Hopefully, I'm still doing the podcast. I'd like to be in a longer term type work situation that's not so much project management and more full time. I'd like to make enough money to live comfortably and have some work life balance. I think 10-year timeline is interesting. I think 10 years it would be a good goal to shoot for. I like the idea of eventually starting a media company and doing the digital branding stuff and having a portfolio of podcasts and all that. So I think that's kind of what I've been working towards, and obviously putting something like that together is it's a big ordeal. But I like that 10-year kind of look on it.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, and don't forget about your boy. I tell people this all the time.
Never.
Don't forget it.
Could never.
And we gonna do a lot of work in the future, especially you having your own digital marketing company, digital content. So we gonna work a lot on that, and you gonna be in podcasting too. So we gonna be on that, dude. But
you bet we got a lot of synergy.
Exactly, exactly. So you have any shout outs before we close off the podcast?
I just want to shout out, like I mentioned, my boss earlier, Emily Reza. Just a gem of a human being, a great friend. She's like a big sister to me. And also just wanted to plug really quick, Pepperdine Rasied Business School, especially the MBA program, is just, it's a world-class experience. The resources, the alumni, the career professional development team, my career coach, Christian Oshiro, is the best. So it's been a great couple of weeks, and I couldn't be, more excited and more honored to be a part of the Rasied family.
Yeah, man, and thank you for coming on the show again. We gotta do this again. I'm gonna follow your story, your career. And yeah, man. So this been your boy DJ Anonymous with another episode of Sports Business Music, the podcast with my boy Robert, and we out. Peace.